Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Tyranny. Last episode we did some checking up back in our bases on the spires with our companions and the equipment we had. We're all set up, we're ready to go, and now, well, first I want to head back to the Bastard City and check up on things there, see if there's anything of note going on. Then after that, we can go to the Shattered Bastion, which is somewhere we were told someone might be. Actually, let's go there first. 3 days? Holy crap, this is gonna take a while. Do we want to go there first? No, let's go to the Bastard City first. 2 days. Sure, alright, we'll be passing by. Oh crap! That's not what I wanted. Hold on, I'm going to reload because I don't want to miss things like that. I was trying to move the map. Now, Bastard City. This time, nothing's showing up. Of course not. Why would it? Oh, there we go. Aside the road, you espy a cart. The vehicle is abandoned with one wheel broken free of its axle. Several crates and sacks remain piled on the small wagon, while a pair of boxes rest in the grass behind it. Approach it or leave it alone. Let's approach the cart. As you approach, you see that the cart boasts 4 wheels, or did before the loss of the back left one, and a long leather tack and harness for a beastman hauler. One of the crates that fell to the ground broke open along its edge, and fruits is spilled out on the ground. Loot the cart, examine the cart. Let's examine it. You immediately notice a sundered hauler harness, likely the result of a bladed weapon. The broken wheel, too, appears less the consequence of accident than human endeavor. The spattering of dark, dried blood across the board cinches your suspicions that this cart came under attack. Prepare for attack. You draw your weapon and enter a defensive crouch, peering towards the tree line in expectation of an ambush. Surely enough, you make out flickers of movement through the brush. The initiative is yours, however. We can ambush the ambushers! Leaving the cart behind, you crash into the underbrush, driving your assault to the tearsmen in battered leathers and mismatched bronze who mistakenly believed that they could get the drop on you. And... oh, okay, we're doing the actual attack here. Good! I'll take it. Oh, they're all around it.
On it.
We received a missive, but we'll handle that in a minute. Hold on, you need to, get those.
I'll be filling that one for a bit. I will aid you.
Do what you can, please. Nope, not. Oh, actually, I'll take that.
Right.
Actually, hold on. Go there. No, too late now. I was gonna do a cleave, but I guess it doesn't matter. I'm getting out plenty of spells, which is pretty nice. And there we go. That wasn't bad at all. We got Sentinel Helm, heavy armor. Not as good as what we're wearing. And here we can loot it. We have an iron helm. Oh no, that's what you're wearing. You are wearing... it's a little better, I guess. Hold on a second. This is... I guess we'll take this. We'll use that over the Cap of Precision. That's going in there. I said that's going in there, that's going in there, that's going in there. Cap of Precision might be useful for something, I don't know. Okay. Good. Got another card over here. Plenty of places to leave at. And some more places we can loot down here. Including a body. with a bronze sword. Yeah, that's going in loot. Oh, why are you... That's all supposed to go in here. So I never use potions. So nothing's going in the quick item slots. Okay, and I'm pretty sure there's probably not going to be anything over here. Nope, just a way out. Okay, before we continue, we got a missive. Archon Jason Pendragon. Allow me to address you by such a title before it becomes fashionable to do. I pride myself as a woman who stays ahead of the trends. When Kairos smites some but allows others to exist is a question we all ponder. The Overlord can certainly appear arbitrary, and if I've learned anything, that's the point. Kairos is intentionally aloof and distant, both for matters of personal security and because if you had to wrangle the most powerful entities of Tyranny, you'd need to keep them from getting too comfortable. To me, the most obvious answer is that Kairos knows exactly what you are doing. She probably approves of your actions and is likely working at every opportunity to create a situation wherein you are acting in your own self-interest while satisfying her ambitions as well. You have to consider one important detail. There's nowhere left in Tyranny to conquer now that the Tears are in the Overlord's grasp. What would the great generals even do in a time of peace? The voices of Narat is barely tolerable when you have need of a spy master. Why keep around such a monster when you no longer have need of such a gruesome weapon? I would argue it is in Kairos' interest that the Tears be a costly invasion that claims the lives of as many of the Archons as possible. Not enough meat on the Tears to keep too many sharks sated very long. Kairos ordered everyone to take Ascension Hall or die. The or die must have been an acceptable option, correct? If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say you have the unspoken backing of the Overlord. It's not like Bled and Mark can't find you whenever he wants. Ask about the Archons and how they've risen to power. Okay, we have that question. I believe I read it in the last one, so send it. See what happens. Now then, we can continue on to the Bastard City. Report into Tunon, because I feel like we should probably do so. He'll probably want to know what's going on with everything. Lennon Mark is here. Does he have anything to say?
There a reason you're gaping at me like I just gutted you, kid? Or do you just like to stand around and stare?
That bracer you're wearing is rather eye-catching.
I bet you're thinking something like it'd look even better on you, right, kid?
This? He waves his left arm in the air, examining the blacker than black bracer, the strapping armlet that appears simultaneously solid as obsidian and diaphanous as a sigh. Almost a living, pulsing thing.
That'd be my binding of shadows. Want it?
No, I couldn't. Really.
But you must take it now. I insist. If only so I can see the expression on your face when you slip it on.
His eyes gleam with a dark interest, a sly amusement as he watches you, his expression a mask of sifting shadows to hide his true intent. With a gruff grunt and some difficulty, he ratchets the bracer off. So it is solid after all, and tosses it to you one-handed.
Careful with it,
he warns when you accept the gift.
Not only weapons can be double-edged swords.
Binding of Shadows. It's a heavy armor. Shade Skin. 10% less all damage taken, and Shadow's Embrace. Shift into a shadow version of yourself. While in this form, deal bonus arcane damage with each attack, and gain bonus damage reduction. These effects scale with Binding of Shadows' renown. This bracer, once worn by Bled and Mark, is made of an unfamiliar substance, part velvet soft darkness and part hardened insect chitin. It is said that the darkness is more oppressive when an Archon of Shadows walks the face of Tyranny. The magic stemming from his power draws on the substance of shadows with an air of welcome and invitation, treating the dark less as something more than an arcane force. As such, a bracer that allows the wearer to embody their darker self has overtones of danger and risk. Just looking at it too closely causes your vision to swim and sends a wave of nausea rolling through your gut. +1 armor, extra pierce and fire. I feel like this could be an accident. It's heavy armor, it's heavy armor.
I'll just hold on to this.
Well, I was able to put it on.
Remember years back when I told you justice is just the name for the biggest sword in the realm? Claiming the Dauntless is part of establishing your own might, your own authority. Even if you dislike its heft, I'd advise you to keep the blade close. It has symbolic value beyond its martial applications. Of course, any authority you may be carving for yourself is sanctioned only with the understanding that it's for the greater glory of Kairos.
Well, reputation ability unlocked because we have the Binding of Shadows on. I equipped a powerful artifact. Dauntless is pretty much maxed, so that's good. How about a little breathing room, kid? Alright, alright. Lady Lucretius, do you have anything else to say, I wonder? Nope, I don't believe so. Let's make our way up and speak with Talos first. Talos? Wait, it's not Talos, is it? It may not be Talos. Okay, I'm throwing this back in here. Tunon! Sorry, Tunon, not Talos. That's a different game. Let's see here. Fatebinder, you look as if you require my counsel. What is it you wish to know? I guess I don't have anything to report in there. I wonder if I have anything to report into these guys. Probably not. We speak again, so let us speak genuinely and at length with one another. Now, of what matter would you have us discuss? The Fatebinder rubs his fingers along the edge of his jaw, regarding it with interest. I guess none of these have anything to say. Oh! Fatebinder Callio, you wrote that you could illuminate the darker corners of Taratus. She glances at your cadre. In a private missive, yes. There are things I won't discuss within the hearing of outside ears. Anything you say to me, they can hear. I'm pretty sure I was clear on my requirements, Jason Pendragon. Alright. I need to speak to the Fatebinder, privately. I suppose not every conversation need be recorded. The hulking man shrugs. As you wish. He takes up a position outside of hearing range, standing just shy of at attention. Far be it from me to intrude on your very important Fatebinder secrets. The Tidecaster crosses her arms and walks away. A sly smile dimples her left cheek. I confess to no small amount of curiosity. I peek into my cadre of shadows, and sometimes I scrounge up a secret. What excites your interest? I'd like to discuss the Archons and their forces. Entirely understandable, given the circumstances. How can I enlighten you? Why are the disfavored so obsessed with their breeding? Stabbing straight at the heart of it, are we? The short answer is Graven Ash and the entire tribal culture that he martyred himself to defend. That tribalism is clearly part of their strength, if not how they're bound to the Archon of War. Of course, such sentiments undermine attempts at occupying the tiers. Were it not for fear of the court, I wonder if he'd eliminate every last tierman to establish his version of order. If you want to speak at length about the disfavored as a military force, though, I'd recommend Fatebinder Nunaval or Ash himself. Or you could always ask your friends in the Bronze Shell. Is there any legal legitimacy to Graven Ash's claim over the Blade Grave, and the voices of Narats over the Stone Sea? That's a complicated issue. Legally, the tiers haven't been brought entirely into the fold as part of Kairos' dominion. Until they aren't fully subject to the Overlord's laws, which means that they're open to be claimed by whoever has the strength of arms to hold them. In theory, once the area has been pacified, the Overlord could carve it up and parcel it out. In practice, Kairos tends to grant governorships to those who took the land. This is how the Overlord has made many of his most substantial gains. He offers Archons the choice to either carve out a kingdom to rule over, or die. Many find that an easy choice to make. But again, that is a gross oversimplification. One could pursue the horizon for months without seeing all of the lands under the Overlord's sway. Ultimately, Kairos is pragmatic and establishes rule as best befits a territory. How much control do the Archons have over the territory they're granted? How long are you staying in Bastard City? There are as many answers to that question as there are Archons. Leadership has always been a matter of personal style. The way you guide your recruits differs starkly from how Rogalus commands his scribes or Nunaval drills his retainers. The same holds for our Archons. The Adjudicator's court bears little resemblance to Iron Hearth, for example, and less to Cacophony. The Overlord codifies this as the right of privilege. So long as an Archon remains loyal to the Overlord and upholds the legal code, Kairos grants them significant freedom to rule their dominion as they see fit. As a result, some territories seem wildly different from others. They say that were you to travel the length of Taratus, you'd find yourself in a different empire every span. Only the Overlord's law unites them. In a way, our code, our court, is the blood coursing through the Empire's veins. We are the order that makes civilization possible. I've heard tell that over time, an Archon's relationship to their territory can grow deeper than we can imagine. The line between them and their land blurs. Rogalus is partial to the story of Morimus the Mire, but look at Cairn and the Stone Sea. Lingering edicts aren't exactly rare, and they shape the lands even as the Archon administrators do, and even as the lands shape the Archons. Taken together, it's all rather muddled. Alright, that's enough about the Archons. I wanted to ask you about the rest of Taratus. I've done more than a little traveling in my role as Tunon's agent. What would you know? Besides those in the tiers, what armies does Kairos have? Oh, that varies depending on the needs of the Empire at any given time. Right now, with the conquest of the tiers ongoing, the Archons of War and Secrets have been given leave to aggressively recruit and field massive forces. Nunaval told me that the Scarlet Chorus is one of the largest gangs of miscreants to have served a single commander in recent history. Archon Ash's disfavored boasts better weapons and tighter tactics than most other forces in the Overlord's dominion can field. Tunon rules the Northern Empire, and while he's at war, his lands are guarded by the Archons of Sorrow and Ruin, as well as the Archons of Frost, unless one of the sisters turned on the others. They are not on a conquest sanctioned by the Overlord, but they maintain personal armies even in times of relative peace. And beyond that, well, the Overlord has dozens of Archons, most with their own lands, armies, and magical guilds. I've not traveled the entire world myself, but I've heard of everything from phalanxes of living bronze to nearly naked archers who herd swarms of spiders into battle. I'll let you determine how much credence you give them. I'm partial to the spiders myself. Oh yes, an army of spiders. What do you know about how I came to the court's attention? She raises an eyebrow. Have you already forgotten the ill-chosen words that thrust you among our company? Each dominion of Kairos has their own idiosyncratic rules of etiquette. One can't be expected to remember in which cities conflating your host's lovers with her pets will get a laugh, and which such will earn you a legal suit. I love that line. A word of advice: never suggest that the bane issue from a governor's buttocks in the form of iridescent flatulence. Oh, I like this. Each dominion of Kairos has its own idiosyncratic rules of etiquette. One can't be expected to remember in which cities conflating your host's lovers with her pets will get a laugh, and in which such will earn you a legal suit. Frankly, I was mildly surprised when the Adjudicator concurred with your argument of innocence, and more so when he offered you a place within the court. Perhaps he saw something in your vagabond upbringing. Perhaps he even foresaw some of what you would accomplish. Oh, those responses are good. What about your past? How did you become a Fatebinder?
Oh, I promise you no story is more boring than that old yarn. I insist. You know my history, let's hear yours. You've heard it 100 times. Girl meets boy, boy plots treason, boy is dragged in front of the Archon of Justice, girl argues for his freedom, Archon of Justice executes boy anyway, but offers girl a job, girl realizes she's much better off a Fatebinder than a deceased dissident. Is any of that true? The very last bit, anyway. Fair enough! I keep hearing the terms Northern Empire and Northern Kingdom used interchangeably. Ingdom? That's not exactly a question, but I understand the confusion. Simply put, the Northern Kingdom was the Northern Empire before Kairos claimed it. Both names refer to the same rough geographical area from whence Archon Graven Ash hails. The difference in nomenclature is to distinguish when in history one is discussing. Enough about Tyranny. I'd like to pick your brain regarding lore historical. I can't claim to be a greater expert than Fatebinder Rogulis, but I'll happily offer my perspective. How long has Kairos' conquest been going on anyway? You've been with us since the conquest of the Tears began 4 years ago, so I assume you mean the greater unification of Tyranny. She glances toward the adjudicator. Longer than any, save for the Overlord, and a handful of the Archons have been alive. Look to the calendar of True Reckoning if you want the official answer. But between you and me, I think that's at best a starting point. Add a century, maybe 2 or more. I gather that it's been a very long, very slow campaign, with the Overlord taking time to fortify and establish the Empire in each new conquered land before moving to the next. It also gives the next target time to let its guard down. The Overlord waited a full century before forcing Graven Ash to bend the knee and directing him against the Tears. Long enough easily to lull the Tearsmen into a sense of false security behind their mountains. Interesting. So Kairos has been going into this in the long haul. Very curious. With him nearly conquering the entire continent, I wonder how long before he starts peering beyond the sea. Have you ever met Fatebinder Myothis? That old loon? Her eyes flicker to Tunon, then to Rogulis, and finally settle back on you. Sure, she's read an edict, maybe 2, in her time. Left her a bit rattled, I think. She's largely retired from active service, resting on accomplishments past while ensconced in the wealth that one can accrue as an agent of the court. Guess I only half assumed she died already. She was dispensing justice back in the last conquest, so she must be over 100 by now. She slips into silence, considering. That's quite enough history for the moment. What next then, my curious friend? That's all I wanted to know for now. Feel free to return if you have further inquiries during the course of your little tour around the tier. I'll keep that in mind. And Rogulis? Fatebinder, you return. Nothing to ask there. Isn't Rogulis the one we're exchanging these missives with? No, Myothis! Rogulis was the one who told us about Myothis. That's right. Now I remember. Okay. I think there's like 5 minutes left, which could result in a short episode, which... yeah, I'll make the episode end here. Still going to be streaming for those few of you who are actually watching. I'm surprised. I actually got 4 viewers. Impressive. But this episode is going to end here. Next episode, we'll make our way to speak to that particular person who we have to make our way to. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Cheswick44. That is Jason Pendragon, Barrack, Lantry, and Ebb. This has been a Let's Play of Tyranny. And I shall see you all next time.